Sometimes life hits you so hard, you forget who you are. You lose your dreams. You lose your peace. And you start to believe it's over. But it's not over. The fire that tried to destroy you may be the same fire that shapes your destiny. Because every ending is a new beginning. Daniel was an ordinary man with extraordinary dreams. He believed that if you worked hard, life would reward you. So he built a small repair shop, one screw, one smile at a time. He poured 10 years of his life into that little place. He didn't rest. He didn't quit. He believed this was his purpose. But one night, a fire started. Within minutes, everything he had built turned into ashes. He stood there in silence, watching the flames devour the dream he had worked his whole life for. No insurance, no backup plan, just pain. The next morning, Daniel had nothing, no shop, no savings, no hope. He stopped going out. He stopped answering calls. He stopped believing in himself. Every night he whispered the same question to himself. Why me? One cold morning, after months of silence, he walked outside. He wandered through the city until he found a park bench. He sat there, broken, staring at the ground. A gentle old man sat beside him, peaceful and calm. After a long silence, the old man said quietly, "You look like a man who's lost something." Daniel sighed. "Everything," the old man smiled. "Then you're lucky." Daniel frowned. "Lucky? I lost my life's work." The man looked into his eyes and said, "Gold becomes pure only when it passes through fire. The flames didn't destroy you, son. They're shaping who you're meant to be." Before Daniel could speak, the man stood up and said one last thing. "Remember, pain is the birthplace of power." Then he walked away, disappearing into the crowd. That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. Those words echoed in his mind. Pain is the birthplace of power. At sunrise, he opened a notebook and wrote 3 words: rise, rebuild, believe. He started again with nothing but his hands and faith. He fixed broken bikes, repaired old washing machines, and worked for little money. But with a big heart, people began to notice his honesty. They saw his fire, his kindness, his will to keep going. One job led to another. He saved some money and rented a small garage. He named it New Day Repairs because for him, every day was a new chance to rise again. But even as he rebuilt, he still fought the voice inside his head. The voice that whispered, "You'll fail again. You're not good enough." This time, Daniel answered back, "Maybe I failed before, but I'm not done yet." Every morning, he looked in the mirror and said, "One more day, just one more try." He worked harder, smiled more, and slowly his life began to change. One afternoon, a woman came to his shop, holding a broken electric wheelchair. "It's for my son," she said softly. "He can't move without it." Daniel promised to fix it. He worked through the night, exhausted but determined. By morning, the wheelchair worked perfectly. When the boy sat in it and moved again, he laughed, a pure, joyful laugh that filled the room. Daniel smiled with tears in his eyes. The woman tried to pay him, but he said, "No, seeing him smile is all I need." A few days later, a newspaper published a story titled "The Mechanic, Who Fixes Hearts, Not Just Machines." That one story changed everything. People came from all over to meet him, not because he was famous, but because he cared. Daniel hired people who had been rejected by life, homeless teens, dropouts, people who'd lost hope. He taught them, he encouraged them, and he told each one, "Pain is not your end, it's your beginning." Years passed. His small shop grew into a network of workshops called New Day Repairs. But Daniel's greatest success wasn't the business. It was the lives he rebuilt. One day he stood on a stage, facing hundreds of people at a conference. He took a deep breath and said, "10 years ago, I lost everything. I thought my story was over, but I learned something. The story only ends when you stop writing it." He looked around and continued, "If life breaks you, let it, because only broken soil can grow new seeds. Sometimes God doesn't remove the storm. He teaches you how to stand in the rain." The audience stood and applauded, many wiping away tears. After his speech, a young man approached him and said, "Sir, your story saved my life. I was ready to quit school, but now I'll fight again." Daniel smiled. "What's your name, son?" The young man replied, "Eli." Daniel froze. That was the name of the old man from the park, the man who had given him hope years ago. He looked toward the sunset and whispered, "Thank you, Eli. You were right. Pain truly is the birthplace of power." As he walked away, the warm light of the evening touched his face, and he realized something beautiful. The same fire that once destroyed him was now the light guiding others. Your pain is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your power. The world may break you, but you have the strength to rise again. Don't let failure define you. Let it refine you, because when you refuse to give up, that's when the miracle of change truly begins.